Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with baseball coach Jeff Stickley, men's golf captain Patrick Clossin, and men's tennis sophomore Michael Holt. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington in the athletics. Xander Tallman became the first WNL men's track and field athlete since 1969 to win All-America honors, placing third in the 400 meters at the NCAA Division III Indoor Championships in Lincoln, Nebraska. On the women's side, Dana Lee just missed All-America recognition after finishing ninth in the long jump. Both lacrosse teams picked up ODAC wins as the women knocked off Lynchburg 12-6 and the men defeated Randolph-Macon 14-7. Women's tennis topped Mary Washington 8-1, while the men's team lost 7-2 to the Eagles. And baseball dropped both games of a conference doubleheader at home against Guilford, falling 13-5 and 4-2 to the Quakers. With me now is baseball coach Jeff Stickley. Jeff, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
The Generals lost a lot of offensive production due to graduation, but the team is still hitting .290 on the season so far. How have some of your younger guys been able to step in and fill those roles that were vacated?
Well, I think, we've done a lot of hitting in the cages, obviously, because of the weather, but the guys who were behind the seniors who left certainly can swing a little bit, and some of the freshmen who came in when they have gotten a chance have done very well. So really the backups from last year stepped up a little bit, and some of the new guys are performing like we thought they could.
I know you're battling some injuries with the pitching staff, but how is the rotation coming along?
We're pleased with how each one of them are developing. We do have a couple guys down right now, and hopefully they can get back before the end of the season. But what it does is it forces you into using guys that maybe you wouldn't have used as much, and when they do have gotten a chance, they've done very well. Andrew Lamb, Kyle Tipping, a couple freshmen, Mike Savis is back pitching, and they have all done a very good job of keeping us in games, and we've been, knock on wood, pleased with how they've done.
The Generals opened up ODAC play by sweeping Lynchburg in a doubleheader on the road. You've had some recent setbacks against Randolph-Macon and Guilford. 3 ODAC games on the road in 2 days this weekend. What did the Generals need to do to get back on track within the conference?
Well, obviously, you got to win a game here and there, but you can't look too far ahead because we have so many games in a stretch, and you just, it's an old coach's saying, you play it day by day, but what you hope is we have quality depth. We don't have a lot of guys on the team, but the guys who are there, they all can play. So you end up playing a lot of those guys, and they step in and do a good job. And the thing you worry about is your depth of pitching. I mean, that's the key to the whole deal. And you just keep going because as you go along, you're going to miss another game or two somewhere.
You've got a lot of baseball between now and mid-April, but that last week of the season during Washington and Lee spring break is always tough. You've got 3 conference doubleheaders on the schedule. There's a chance that more games might be rescheduled for that week. I know it's one game at a time, day by day, but how do you prepare for such a grueling stretch for the team?
Well, we hope we're going to try awful hard not to put any more games there because of how that week is. But you can't get ready because we're off for exams right before then, and certainly you want to play during break. I mean, what are we going to do? Go fish? So you just go play, and you hope you keep it spread out a little bit, and then you end up playing those games. But we like playing coming out of break. I mean, it's the last week before the tournament, and that's the best thing to do. We're tired of practicing.
Jeff, always great to talk with you. Best of luck the rest of the season.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
I'm joined now by Patrick Clossin, junior golf captain from Ottawa, Tennessee. Patrick, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Between the fall schedule and 2 tournaments so far this spring, how have the Generals performed thus far this season?
I feel like we performed well. We haven't performed to our potential, so we still have a lot of strokes out there that we really let slip by. Just a couple mistakes here and there in a tournament can make you finish 5th opposed to 2nd. And so we've seen that a lot. We're still a young team with 3 freshmen in the starting lineup for every tournament this season. And I believe that we are very close to really breaking into a tournament and finishing 1st or 2nd and really getting there for the rest of the season.
It's the second half of March, and there's still snow and ice on the ground here in Lexington. How has this extended winter impacted the team's practice schedule?
It's impacted us tremendously, but fortunately we have an indoor facility in an old squash room, but it still just isn't the same as hitting on real grass or anything. So in our last tournament down in South Carolina at Dawtaw Island, we hadn't hit a golf ball off real grass or into a practice range. We've just been hitting it into a net for about a week. And so when you get on the real course, it's obviously just a world's difference. But it's getting better. Every morning I hope it's over 40 and the snow's melted and it's not wet. So, but it's been okay. We've managed.
There are 2 events left in the regular season. You go to Camp Lejeune next weekend and then to Rhodes in mid-April. How important are those tournaments for Washington and Lee?
They're very important. The Camp Lejeune tournament features some of the best teams in the nation. I'd say there's about 30 teams that compete, and there's about 5 from the top 15. And if we do well there and we perform to our best ability, which I believe we can, we definitely can beat some of those teams and move up in the rankings. And then the Rhodes tournament is a great tune-up too. It's played at Justin Timberlake's course, and it's a very nice course. And there's also going to be a bunch of good teams there, and that's a great tune-up for ODACs in the spring. So,
what are the team's expectations for the ODAC championship in April?
Obviously to win. We haven't won an ODAC in, at least not even my time here, but in a while, and we really need to win, not just for personal goals and personal gains, but because it'll help us to the national championship. And the team is really hungry for that. We always perform well in ODACs. We finished second last year, I believe, and the year before we finished top 3. And so I feel like it's our time. We're really playing well, and we're feeling good. So,
Patrick, thanks for being here. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
With me now is Michael Holt, sophomore tennis player from Henrico, Virginia. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You paired up with Taylor Shamshiri to advance to the national semifinals in doubles last season, earning All-America honors in the process. How will that experience help you as you continue your career?
You know, I think the main thing that I can take away from making the national semifinals with Taylor is the confidence that it gave me. I mean, we got to play against some great teams on a very big stage, and to be able to pull out some of those matches just did a ton for my confidence. It gave me the belief that, hey, you know, I can hang with some of these really good players, and that belief is so key, and it will help me throughout the rest of my career for sure.
You're 10-4 in singles on the season. You and Taylor are 11-3 in doubles. How pleased have you been with your individual play so far?
In singles, I've been pretty pleased. I mean, I've had some ups and downs for sure, but I've also had some good wins against, for example, Mary Washington. But I just need to work on leveling out those fluctuations, because some days I feel like, man, I'm playing really well, other days not so much. So if I can just level that out, that'd be good. And then in doubles, obviously Taylor and I would have liked to have pulled out the tough losses against Johns Hopkins and Mary Washington. But at the same time, I think we can use those as learning experiences to help us for the rest of the season. And I think we're in good position.
Washington and Lee has won 32 out of the 37 ODAC titles all time in men's tennis, including the last 4. What do the Generals need to do to continue that streak here in 2014?
The ODAC definitely gets tougher year after year. So if we want to be holding another ODAC title at the end of the season, we need to make sure we put in the hours on the practice courts and in the gym and go into every ODAC match with the mentality that we're going to have to fight for it. And if we have that mentality, then I think the results will fall into place from there.
Looking outside of the ODAC, you've got some big contests coming up against nationally ranked opponents like Emory and CMU, as well as some tough regional matches, Christopher Newport and Sewanee among those. How will that schedule benefit the team overall?
Those matches are definitely key for us. We use them as measuring sticks to kind of see where we are and where we need to go. One of our main goals is to make a run at the national level, and in order to do that, we're going to have to go through teams of this caliber. So it's always good to get experience against these teams during the regular season to see what we need to be ready for come NCAA time.
Michael, thanks for joining us here. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. The men's and women's track and field teams begin the outdoor season by playing host to the W&L Carnival, which starts on Friday. On Saturday, women's tennis faces Christopher Newport, while baseball heads to Roanoke for a conference doubleheader. Women's lacrosse steps out of ODAC play to meet Catholic, and men's lacrosse will visit Guilford. Men's tennis takes on Christopher Newport on Saturday afternoon, followed by an ODAC match at Hampton-Sydney on Sunday. For W&L Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.